operadora Claro lança nesta semana no Brasil a conexão 5G para telefones celulares em bairros nobres de São Paulo e Rio de Janeiro usando a rede existente, enquanto aguarda a licitação prevista para 2021 para a instalação da 5ª geração de internet móvel. O serviço vai estar disponível até setembro em 12 bairros paulistas e 9 cariocas. O leilão do 5G seria realizado em 2020 em todo o Brasil, um dos principais mercados para a tecnologia, mas foi adiado devido à pandemia de Covid-19.
O Reino Unido decidiu banir a empresa chinesa de telecomunicações Huawei do plano de implementação da internet 5G no país.
Quando o leilão for realizado, o governo brasileiro vai ter que escolher entre a chinesa Huawei ou as concorrentes, entre elas as europeias Ericsson e Nokia, que têm um apoio de Washington.
Quando a rede 5G for implementada, vai transformar a forma como vivemos, trabalhamos e a forma como lidamos com a tecnologia. Será um mundo interligado, um mundo no qual os humanos se comunicam uns com os outros, mas também com as máquinas. As máquinas também se comunicam entre si, por isso vamos utilizar diferentes serviços da mesma rede. Os utilizadores já não se vão preocupar com o nível de conexão, simplesmente vão estar sempre conectados.
We as an industry classify 5G as better speeds, lower latency, and the ability to connect the very large number of devices that are suited for very high-end applications.
Some of the applications that are likely to come from 5G, autonomous driving, developments in the healthcare area, smart cities, manufacturing, energy.
The 4G technology is connecting people. The 5G technology will be connecting objects.
When we talk about global connectivity, the relevant measure would be the number of connected devices. If there's roughly 20 billion connected devices today, it's projected globally there will be 50 billion connected devices by the year 2030 alone.
In order to be able to handle all of this traffic, you require a network that is much more flexible, and that's what 5G will bring.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades. If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them. You must stay at home.
Conspiracy theories about 5G have been spreading since the beginning of lockdown.
There is no virus, it's 5G radiation poisoning. This is all a big part of the eventual goal, which is control.
Your body can't handle this new 5G. It's not built for it. And yet lots more people are going to be ill.
Some people say the virus is man-made and lockdown is a cover for installing 5G. Others say it's actually 5G that's causing coronavirus symptoms. And some think it's an excuse for forced global vaccination. It all comes back to a fear that 5G is harmful to human health.
When the global pandemic crescendoed earlier this year, an interesting story began to seep into our national news.
Over the past 6 weeks, emergency services have been called out to 17 suspicious cell tower attacks, including this one last month in Papatoetoe. Attacks have been taking place around the world, believed to be linked to conspiracy theories around 5G mobile networks and COVID-19.
According to the conspiracy theory, 5G had the potential to become weaponized into instruments of mass infection.
5G operating at 60 gigahertz is a weaponized military system which splits oxygen atoms. That'll all tie into the health hazards in the respiratory system. A lot of people would be connecting it to COVID-19 in the earlier stages is because of the respiratory effects in which was happening then.
If there's two things that are important in life, it's truth and it's freedom.
Shocking and horrific Australian government fascist lockdown.
COVID-19 has created a perfect storm for conspiracy theorists.
It's all a mind game.
Around the world, we're seeing them become more vocal and more extreme.
What if all you ever knew was a lie?
Believing that much of what they're being told by the authorities, by the scientific and medical world, by the media, is a big fat lie.
Because some things just don't make sense with this. Some things just don't add up.
The theories are as numerous as they are nonsensical.
There's your 5G policy.
From 5G towers and vaccines spreading coronavirus to suspicions the virus was unleashed deliberately by Bill Gates. or that a cabal of elites are intent on taking over the world.
Let's go, come on, let's go, come on, let's go.
37-year-old Thanos Panayiotis is an ordinary bloke from the burbs of Melbourne.
Do you feel like a rebel?
A newcomer to the world of total distrust.
We are here to ask questions and have them answered because things don't make sense.
At a protest a month ago, he took centre stage before being arrested. A dramatic introduction to his new role as a leader of the anti-lockdown movement.
I'm just some dude from Epping, to be honest.
So, what happened? How did you find yourself in this position?
When I felt that what's going on wasn't totally above board, where I believed the world is moving towards, I became concerned.
For what?
Look, I've always known and believed there are certain controlling interests in the world that are looking towards a one world government, one world currency, and that's a good thing as long as the people at the top have the people's best interests in mind. Because if they don't have the common man's interests in mind, then that's a very dangerous thing.
5G tower. 0G now. I'm mad out here.
Remember when lots of celebrities were posting about 5G? That week, there were 20 arson attacks on masts. US singer Keri Hilson was one of the first. She shared this now debunked video of an alternative doctor in March.
And I'll finish with anybody want to make one guess as to where the first completely blanketed 5G city in the world was. Exactly.
Keri later tweeted that her management asked her to remove the post. What the doctor said wasn't true, but the idea was infectious, and anti-5G posts went viral. On the first day of lockdown, MIA tweeted, then later removed, this.
Here's the broadband that they're digging up to install. Why are these men here?
Then Callum Best put a post on Instagram. So did Lee Ryan from boy band Blue. Like so many of these posts, it's since been deleted. Then Hollywood actor Woody Harrelson. These messages were coming up on all of our feeds, and they weren't stopping. Amanda Holden said she accidentally tweeted a link to this petition. But 4 hours after she shared it, the page had over 120,000 signatures.
I think it's a man-made thing, guys. It's been put there for a reason, to keep everyone in while they test the 5G.
You see this thing here? This thing here is called a television. Tell-a-vision.
Believing mainstream media is part of the Great Deception, Thanos encouraged his supporters to make a show-stopping statement.
No longer will we be programmed.
He showed them how.
Tell-a-vision.
Tells us what to do. It's a television.
And many followed.
What that was a protest against the overwhelming lies that the media has been pouring.
Well, it won't light, but you get the picture.
A protest against mainstream media.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
I said to myself, look, at the end of the day, if the media want to paint you as something, they're going to paint you as it anyway. So you might as well at least have a voice and just come on and just be you.
I am sceptical, and I also am suspicious, because history has shown us that, even science, and you know this as a fact, science has been bought by vested interests in so many different fields over the years.
His social media pages have also given exposure to some of the more bizarre theories surrounding the virus. You posted, for example, a shot of Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he is part of a conspiracy?
I don't know. And I don't know.
You put that up on your Facebook, for example, and why do you do that if you don't buy into it a bit?
Because what Bill is suggesting And every single interview that he has done recently is suggesting that the world will not become safe until every single person on the planet has been vaccinated for this.
But what makes you think he can force that, even if you thought that?
Because he seems to be having a lot of influence with certain areas.
Just like you, Pete.
I don't have the ability to put something into your body. So the comparison between me...
I'm not sure Bill Gates can put it into your body either, just quietly.
I don't know. I don't know. Is the World Health Organization the one that does that? Is it the governments? Is it... could be a great story for you to look at.
Radio host Lamont Simone is a self-described reporter for The People. He spent most of his lockdown conducting his own research into 5G technology. He felt the media weren't scrutinising the government's actions enough and has been using his online platform to share what he believes is the other side of the story.
I've been looking at alternative news sources. I've been looking at the mainstream news sources. I've been taking bits and pieces from YouTube people who claim themselves, versed in the areas.
Simone's Facebook page is a collection of both verified news sources and personal opinion. While a number of journalists have called out the potentially problematic nature of his posts, Lamont believes he has done no wrong.
Everything I share is sourced, is available through the public forum. Everything in which I report on is being reported anyways by qualified journalists. I just take the information and have my own little opinion to that. Well, I don't think anyone can hold me accountable because obviously the information that comes through me has already been qualified through a qualified source.
Just imagine a new scenario where everything's connected. Do we need traffic lights? We don't need traffic lights. You just speak and say, I'm going home. The network knows where your home is. The network knows where all the cars and the traffic is. But I think we have a behavioural issue that we need to address. We spend a lot of time engaged with our devices to the extent that we're looking at how do we actually make people look up when they cross the road. There's one thing about being a smart city. The other challenge is, do you use this technology well? Does it make us happier people? Do we use the city in a better way?
We need to focus on not just the near-term economic benefit for the corporate world, but the societal benefit that 5G will bring.
If you put a VR lab in a school, the students can explore the pyramids of Egypt or even the solar system. But on the continent, there are challenges with even basic internet access today.
A lot of infrastructure in countries is built by governments in order to attract corporate investment. So governments need to decide what are the infrastructure elements they should be encouraging investment in.
5G gives us the potential to leapfrog into the next generation of connectivity.
Today, we can say that our long national hibernation is beginning to come to an end, and life is returning to our streets. I remember I came into the house and my dad sat me down and he said, there's going to be a day in the future that you're going to get told to put a microchip in you. He goes, just listen to my words. When that day comes, don't you dare put that thing in your body.
Do you know where your father got that idea from?
I'm quite sure that it was from something called the Prophecy of St. John that he'd read.
As far-fetched as it might sound, Thanos is convinced that day may soon be upon us all.